Hi, I'm Sean Watson with Dave's Secret Stash. This is episode 3, Crazy Days Music Store. Check us out at crazydaysmusic.com. I am here today with Chris Stanton of Marion Crane, probably one of my favorite local bands in the area. Chris, today we're demoing out the EVH 5153 and the 412 cab.
Correct.
And you've also brought out the EVH Wolfgang Standard and the crop circles.
Right.
All right.
Cool thing about these, just talk about the amp for a minute. 50 watts, comes in 2 colors, ivory, black. The one I use on stage is the same exact amp as this, except mine's ivory. I think the ivory looks cooler.
It does.
It's just a beast. It's all around. You know, it's 3 channels. Channels 1 and 2 have they share an EQ. Channel 3 is basically its own EQ because it's pretty much all gain and all just face melting all day. I use it through the matching 212. Cool physical aesthetic with the 212 is it's got these hinges on it so you can lean it back, and the head actually mounts to the cabinet so the head doesn't fall off if you do that. But
yeah, I was going to bring that up because I noticed that in your stage shows you have it like bolted to the top of the thing.
There's these 2 little wings that come out of the bottom here, and then there's these screws on the top of the cabinet that go right into it, so that thing just doesn't move.
Well, that's cool.
And it's good for traveling too, like if you're loading it in a trailer or whatever, those things aren't going to move around.
Right.
So it's really cool. But yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of different amps over the years, mostly in like heavier bands, and this is just, especially for the price, like you just can't beat this amp. I mean, there's not a better high gain amp out there under $1,000 bucks. Right. With the versatility that this has. So
now everybody knows that the EVH, Eddie Van Halen used to have the PV 5150. How is this in comparison with what PV did and where Fender took over? And
well, there's some similarities. You know, it's a high gain workhorse. I think the 5150 was better. It was a classic studio metal amp. Like Lamb of God is famous for that. A lot of metal bands. So I think it kind of lost the PV 5150 1 and 2. I think it kind of lost a little bit live. And it definitely lost a little bit with the clean channel. It just didn't. The clean channel just didn't, in my opinion, hold up. You got Fender clean channel in there.
Yeah. Fender
knows a little bit about clean channels.
That's what they do.
So, and this thing thrives in the studio, but this thing really comes to life on stage.
Now, you mentioned this is a good amp in the studio. Did you use this on Marion Crane's last album?
No, we used Fractal Axe Effects in the studio just because it's a lot easier to, instead of lugging in amp after amp and trying different sounds, the Fractal's right there. That's a really cool piece too. Fractal, Axe Effects, and the Kemper Profiler, which is right there.
What about this Wolfgang? This is the Standard.
Yeah. They just came out with these a few months ago. It's basically, there's kind of 3 different models ranging in from $499 to $599, depending on the finish that you get and whether it's a stop tail or a Floyd Rose. So it's like if you mix them, if you change, it's either $499 or $549 and then $599 depending on what you get of the 3. This is your base model, black, hardtail, $499 Wolfgang.
Right.
Maple neck, it screams. It's awesome. And there's not really many signature guitars out there that you can get for $499 that don't say Squire or Epiphone on the headstock. And this is I mean, it says EVH Wolfgang Standard on the headstock. And it's built like a brick shithouse.
The one thing that I love about this guitar, I mean, I was looking at the EVHs earlier today. They have those direct mount humbuckers. You don't have to mess with the setting at all.
Exactly.
It comes out of the box. It's just ready to rock.
Yeah, and they sound just as good as the ones you buy off the shelf. And I mean, and those pickups are, I think, $150 a piece. So in theory, you're kind of getting $300 worth of pickups, and you're getting the rest of the guitar for $199.
Exactly.
It's a killer deal, you know. So, but it's a monster. Sounds great, especially through the amp. So it's awesome.
Well, why don't you show everybody exactly how these two totally match up?
Okay, well, I've got it set up for a pretty cool clean tone because I think everybody's kind of curious about that. I'm basically splitting the pickups here in the center position, in the middle position. And it's basically what you see is what you get. The only thing I have to add a little salt and pepper to the steak, if you will, is I have a analog delay just to kind of add a little bit of ambiance to it. But I mean, you'll see it's just, you know. Obviously you're getting deeper tones depending on where you're going.
Yeah.
And you can move around the tone knob and kind of figure out what you want, like with any guitar. But yeah, it's just a really, really great sound. I think a lot of people buy this for thinking, oh, I just want to crush people with my heavy tone. Right. And it's really got a killer clean sound as well.
Pure, crisp, bright. You're getting all that out of the EVH head here. And not to mention the fact that you got a killer face melting high gain stage on there too.
And the thing was, even though it's 50 watts, like there's just so much headroom. I mean, you don't need to worry. I mean, I share a stage with a guy that plays the 150 watt Mesa Boogie, and I don't have any problems keeping up at all.
No, and y'all blend very well together.
Awesome.
So I can see where this would be a workhorse, and anybody would really want to put this into your arsenal.
It really is. It's amazing.
You know, and especially for the price point, for a tube head, a Fender tube head, EVH high gain stage, you know, you're looking at $9.99 for a 50 watt head, which is almost unheard of for a very good quality tube amp.
Absolutely. I've told other manufacturers, I'm not going to name who they are, but I've told them in meetings like, look, you know, buy our amps, this amp is great, this amp, and they're great products. They are. They got to beat the 5150, whether it's on tone, on versatility, and especially on price. For you know, economy's not the greatest, and not many people are going out spending $2,500 on a head nowadays. Right. And so they came along and said, well, boom, here you go, and go to town, and it's wonderful. A lot of the pros are switching to EVH. Yeah. So it's yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the brand as a whole.
Well, let's break out the crop circle and maybe try a little dirty on this side and show the folks what else his guitars are bringing to the table.
So basically what I did to the amp, I basically just switched to the second channel, which I kind of split half and half live depending on the mood I'm in. But you can, the second channel for the gain is plenty of gain, plenty of crunch for any heavy band. Again, shares the EQ, so I changed the EQ a little bit because I play different EQs, clean and dirty, but yeah, so basically you know, plenty of crunch. There's one thing I forgot to mention. There is a presence knob that's a master presence. So I basically just keep that at half. Most of the time I'll turn presence down. On this amp, it really like totally brings it to life. I don't turn it all the way up because then it just cats come running at you because it's just screaming everywhere. But yeah, this thing. So yeah, what I'll usually do is kind of keep it either on this channel or and like kind of use this as my main rhythm and then switch to channel 3 for my main leads. Or what I'll do is if I'm really feeling froggy, I'll leave it on channel 3 and then just kind of back down the volume like just a hair and use that for rhythms. If I go into a lead, I'll just turn the volume all the way up. But yeah, it's you know, and the guitar is killer. Basically, this is the latest in the Stripe series. It's the Circles guitar, modeled after his Unchained guitar. He's got the "See You Later Bye" on the back, which he used to flip the guitar up live at the end of the show and do this. Yeah, it comes with the Floyd Rose Wolfgang pickup that's cream colored. It's got the patented EVH D tuner. Anyway, you basically pull it out and it drops it to D, push it back in, goes back up to standard. Right. That's been on most of his guitars for probably 20 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really slick. But yeah, one volume knob, no fuss, no muss. You basically just kind of plug it in and go. So I set it to channel 3 to kind of show like there's really no. This is a train that just doesn't stop. Channel 3, it just screams. So like that's kind of where my setting would be, like on a lead, or if I'm again feeling froggy during the show. But like again, you can basically adjust the highs, adjust the lows like any amp, but the sweep is so good that like you could just, you know, back the mids down. And you got your Master Puppets tone or your Justice for All tone or whatever. You can set the mids up a little higher, back the gain down a little bit. You know, kind of more of a Marshall-y, kind of Bogner kind of sound almost. But yeah, this is. I mean, seriously, even if you turn the gain like pretty much all the way down, it's still going. Yeah, so it's yeah, it's a great amp. It's a killer piece. Yeah, I mean, you know, I can talk all day about it, but I don't know how much memory we have.
I'm Sean. This is Chris Stanton with Marion Crane. Go on YouTube, check them out. They've got some great videos. Their new album is Rock and Roll is Dead, and I Know Where the Bodies Are Buried. Definitely check them out. Great band. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
When the sun goes